All right. I think we are live. Let's get this posted and then start up.
All right, then I'll take it from here while you're doing the outreach. Yeah, good to be back. As I promised, we're back for another roundup of everything today. We'll do some prediction market news, we'll do some geopolitics stuff, we'll do some elections, and we'll do some, I don't know, maybe in the end, I know nothing about it, but maybe we can even glance at the Oscars because I think that's happening on Sunday, right? You can give me some
Yes,
layups. Yeah, and
I, I
if
have
they go
I
wrong,
have a few.
send someone after you. Uh,
Exactly. Well, I remember I don't know if we did Grammy picks together, but I did pretty well on the Grammys with Best New Artist. Olivia Dean was something in TMB we
okay,
had called out from October, but we'll see what we can get for the Oscars.
cool.
And as always, if anyone in the comments wants us to look at a market for you, I'll repeat it a couple times throughout the stream. But yeah, comment and we'll take a look. Let's get
We'll
this
do that.
posted. Boom. Okay, so the first thing we should talk about is hot off the press. Polymarket X Palantir. Something's going on there, so let's see what they did. Now, I just woke up, so it's not, I don't have much insight on what was going on, but what I hear is it's more about this insider trading analysis, like to stop for compliance purposes, right? Ivan, is that the vibe you got from this?
Well, the way I understood it is, yeah, as they say, like screening against existing lists of participants banned from sports betting. Basically, these are the early stages of Polymarket being regulated.
No.
In a couple of years, Polymarket is going to be full on KYC regulated. You won't get limited like at bookmakers,
Yep.
but yeah, this will be overview.
Now, the one caveat to this announcement is that it is only for the US regulated venue, which right now, first off, yeah, still getting built out, even though
But it
uh, the
launched.
even though the
Most important.
market resolve that we launched,
We launched.
it is still getting built out, and it's only for like the US platform, which currently is only a small array of sports, no combos, no player props. But yeah, for sports markets, eventually we assume Polymarket is going to be putting on normal prediction markets, the traditional prediction markets we all are fighting for. But for now, it is just the U.S. platform that this partnership is just for the U.S. platform. Kalshi has IC360, which is their sports compliance partner, and IC360 I think does a lot of sports books. But yeah, for Polymarket, it's Palantir, which is a Peter Thiel backed company, right? Same as Polymarket, so some partnership there, which is pretty good. I think it's exciting. At least we bullied Polymarket into doing some sort of compliance, right?
Well, I mean, we're not like we're staying unregulated, but the regulated U.S. venue, it's going to be full of rules. It will be the most interesting thing for me is how they will handle that because there will be two poly markets. There will be the US poly market, which will have all the regulated stuff and sports and everything, and then there will be the actual poly market where you have all the good stuff. And how that's going to work? Like, are they going to have two order books? Are they can't even have the one? But I'm curious. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think the problem here is, yeah, back in September or October with Bad Bunny being announced for the Super Bowl, the morning and afternoon of the announcement, before it was announced in the evening, Eastern time, you had Bad Bunny's odds absolutely skyrocket, right? And that was maybe it led on Polymarket and bled into Kalshi. So the insider was not on Kalshi, but you have a problem where an insider is on one platform, and because of now the arbitrage apparent in the market, people bid up the Kalshi, right? It's not those bidders' fault that there's this information, but there was insider information in the prediction market space. So when you have one platform doing compliance and another one that's offshore not doing it, there could be some problems there, right? Don't you think that there's some issue?
Mm, I mean, the rules will be the same for all the platforms. The matter is that Polymarket actually will then have two platforms.
Yeah.
And anyway, like one actually, now that we're at the insider trading thing, one interesting thing I saw today, who posted it? Ivan, I think, posted it. That Andrew Tate is insider trading his own tweet markets.
Yes, we
Yeah,
broke that news, which is cool. Where's Hive? There we go. We broke this news. This is exciting.
yeah, 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 yeah. Okay.
So yeah,
Um,
I had noticed this in the market because um, this was, we can look at the actual market, but yeah, the market ends on March 10th today, in an hour.
mm,
And March 7th, there's some crazy movement where one bracket, the under 100, goes to 80
mm,
cents. That could be normal if he's really under pace. That's fine. But then we got 100 to 129, which is a pretty specific bracket, go all the way to 90
mm,
cents and stay there. So
mm,
there's some real problems here where 3 days out of a market, that's a lot of time for Twitter markets. Elon Musk doesn't go to 90 cents until 12 hours before the end of the market. Andrew Tate, first off, he has some rep as some sort of grifter, right? If that's a nice word to put it. But 90
yeah.
cents for a market 3 days out, a Twitter market makes no sense. And yeah, we broke that news saying that from 18 to 90, no, 100 to 120, 100, less than 100 went up, and then flipped again. Now 100 to 129 is at 90. And yeah, two winners on the market. Counter Yeg and Anton Foire, 25K in profit from tweeting Andrew Tate markets. It's someone on the team, I would guess, is doing this,
Yeah.
and it's a shame. It's always
Top G needs.
been.
Well, there's the problem is, again, like, I blame this on Polymarket because they enable this shit. Like, haven't we been through this with the other with this even worse kid? What's his fucking name? Miles. I mean, there was a pure insider market like this one. Again, this is all the stuff that I've been. At one point, they're going to realize it. At one point, they're actually going to either be forced to or just voluntarily implement. Not because I'm saying it, but because they will realize that I'm right, or
Yeah,
that is just a logical thing to do. Like, weed out all these markets which are dependent on one person and which are very, like, I mean, this is just an invitation to insider trading, right?
yep,
And then the other thing is just remove these markets which are pure gambling because they don't reflect well on your site. Like, it's like, what are you trying to be? Are you trying to be a gambling site, or are you trying to be? You're not trying to be the truth machine anymore, but are you trying to be like some institutional, like, new asset class? I mean, we don't need an asset class for Andrew Tate, like, picking up some some change for his Lambo. So make
exactly.
up your mind, man. Like, become like a little bit more serious about this shit. So
Yeah, I mean,
uh,
on that topic, just to get off topic, there's a couple of articles in prediction markets that I always come back to. I always cite some stories like my origin story or different markets that are legendary that we talk about every couple of weeks. Your article about which markets we should be allowed to trade and not is one of those. So yeah, those the three categories, right? Important for the world and lots of people have access to, right? Like that was the first one. Important for the world, but only it hinges on one person. And then neither, hinges on one person and has no predictive value. And this
yeah.
would fall into the latter category, right? So, yeah, it's a shame that this is happening. And I mean, Polymarket with this PR scrutiny has been a little bit more, I'm not going to say proactive, but they are removing markets from the site uh, due to negative press and just to try to smarten up their act. And some of those, maybe they're going
But sometimes,
overboard. Like,
right? Sometimes is,
yeah,
they remove new detonation market where you can make a legitimate case that it's a valuable piece of information, but they leave
yeah.
the top G up for gas money. So I mean, come on,
But
this makes no sense.
yeah, so they did remove. Did they remove these nuclear markets? I
Yeah, they have
remember there was
nuclear
some
tests
drama.
now.
Nuclear
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
tests.
So
Okay, but there
that's the replacement.
it used to be what was the name of the market before?
I think it was like just nuke, will a nuke detonate? I don't know. I think if you try to look for detonate, um,
Okay, so this is
or
possesses a
nuclear
nuclear weapon. Yeah, it was nuclear detonate, I think. You're right,
device.
which is not there anymore. Okay. Yeah, so there used to be way in the past, but yeah,
Yeah,
2025.
yeah. This,
But yeah, not anymore. I think they did remove those. And I remember in the Discord there were some problems people had with that as well.
yeah.
Yeah, so insider trading is still a tough situation and we'll see where it goes, I guess.
I mean, they're trying. Like, I agree with you. Yeah, they're becoming like ever so slightly more proactive, or
Yeah,
maybe just reacting more to Bloomberg and Wall Street Journal and New York Times calling them out instead of us calling them out. But
yeah.
hey, like, we appreciate all of it. Um, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, one last thing. I think Shane, more money, more problems. He said that in the Sloan conference this week. It was a sports analytic conference. Yeah. Uh, it was on the topic. I wonder if I have the video because I know I have it on YouTube, but he was asked about war markets and because that's the big news now. And one of his out of context, but he said more money, more problems with the topic of like 3 years ago, they had war markets for Russia, Ukraine. And everyone, well, not everyone, but it was Polymarket was not well known that the people who traded them valued them very much, and there was no negative PR because Polymarket just wasn't well known. Now that Polymarket is in the spotlight, you have situations where Maduro is captured and someone makes 400 grand. Trump says, "Oh, we delayed Maduro's capture by 4 days." You look at 4 days ago, and there was someone who stood to make millions of dollars if the weather was good, you know. So you can tell that there are with more money comes more of these problems, and Shane hit it on the nose there, I guess.
Well, you could say that, but you could also say some things, they just become a problem or potentially a problem. I mean, I was in favor of these war markets. I wrote a tweet on that. But some things, you at one scale, at a smaller scale, you can do them. At a
Mhm.
larger scale, you can't. So, for
Yeah,
example, take Andrew Tate. When he was small, I mean, I used to follow him. I found him funny. Yeah, he was a troll. He was already then, like you could call him a misogynist, but so he's a generally funny guy. I mean, that's one thing you can
Mhm.
give him. Uh, while he was, like just talking to like the small circle of men, I mean, no one cares what he says, right? But now that he's
Yeah,
got an audience of millions,
yeah,
then you have a much greater risk, and this is the same dynamic here. Now that you have an audience of millions or millions of dollars, in that you can behave the same way that you were behaving when it was just like the 200 people trading. So
yep. That's
yeah.
very true. Okay, let's go into the hot markets of the week and of the month. We will start with Iran, right? Obviously.
Probably, yeah. Now that about
And
markets, that's the
yeah,
best transition we can do.
so which markets should we talk about first? I'm saying ceasefire because that one had a pump yesterday and came back down. I tried to live trade it a bit. I think I did pretty well. But obviously, the nonce attack on Polymarket where your trades don't actually go through, we could give
Mm.
some time on that as well. But yeah, so market 7%, pumps up to 19 on a Trump ABC phone call. If I remember correctly, it was an ABC phone interview where he
Was it?
said
I
the
think it
war
was.
will be over very soon.
Yeah,
CBS, do you remember?
yeah. I think it was CBS. Well,
Yeah,
anyway, yeah, one
CBS.
of
Okay.
those. Yeah.
Yeah, Trump says war could be over very soon. We're well ahead of schedule. That was another one of the headlines that came up on the terminal, and market pumps a lot. So for March 15th, which already I know some sharps are on it. So you have I think Tina Dome on there, and okay, that's pretty much it. Aussie, pretty good.
Then
You have Amalek
Dennis
on
is.
no. Denise, where is he? Yeah, there. Dennis is there. But yeah, so you had the market pump to 19 cents. Pretty good. March 31st, I went well above 50. Okay, not well above 50. And then April 30th, I know went near 70. Yeah. Okay. So these markets pumped a lot and now settled higher than before, but back down a little bit. So what is your take there? I know you have opinions regardless of the headlines from Friday with profit. So where do you see ceasefire at now?
Oh, good question. Actually, I also, but I got mostly lucky on that yesterday. I wouldn't say lucky, but Trump has sometimes this pattern where like shit goes down, and then
Mhm.
it's Taco Tuesday. They set up the Taco Tuesday, like Monday afternoon, Monday evening, he comes out, or Tuesday in the morning, just like to pump the market or just to crush volatility a bit. So that's why I was buying. I had some yes on, I think March and May. May I'm still holding, and some other markets too, because there's like the war ends market or something called conflict ends. Can talk about this later as well. Anyway, I think yes is good. Yes is quite confident on this one. I sold pretty much all of my. So now I have no on end of March, but yes end of May. My reasoning is he wants out. It's quite obvious, in my opinion, that he wants out. He needs to get out.
Yep.
For also quite obvious reasons. He's not helping really anyone besides BB. But can he really get out? He can get out any day. He can just, stop the war. Same like Russia and Ukraine, right? You can stop the war and then it's over.
Yep.
Can he get out without losing? Well, he wouldn't even lose face. I mean, he can just gaslight everyone like he does all the time. But can he, like not look weak like in public, and can he also like not feel weak, because now you have this, and I think this is quite a big deal that Iran put in the next Ayatollah Khamenei, and you can't start a war and then you obliterate everything. Like last year they obliterated everything and came back. Now you kill the guy and then the next guy has the same name. How much have you really achieved?
Yeah.
Like nothing besides pumping gas prices. So I think this is his own. I won't say it's the only deliverable, but I think this is a very, very strong indicator if they can remove him, if Bibi can remove him, then he would be open to calling it quits with Iran, because then the next guy, he won't know him anyway. I mean, he doesn't know anyone, but he knows this guy is the son of the previous guy, so that doesn't look good.
So
And I think
so
this.
there's another deliverable here, the next Khomeini.
Yeah. I mean, they put him.
Wow.
They put him there for a reason, right? I think it's very hard to judge what's going on in Iran. It's very we don't even know whether he's really alive. Supposedly he's alive, but no one's heard of him or seen him. They probably won't dig him up anyway, regardless of whether he's alive or not. I presume he is. Um, he's under mortal danger now, so there's no point. No matter what condition he's in, he's not going to show his face. Um, so how easy it will be for Israel to get to him, I don't know. But yeah, anyway, long story short, I think yes is like yes on the short time frames. Trump wants out, but can he just like finish the war? I don't know. I think that's why I like May. Last thing on that, because it's World Cup is coming up. So
April
in June
30 or
you have
May
the World Cup.
31st?
May 31st. Yeah, so end of
Okay.
May. Yeah. June is World Cup. Trump likes being a host. Trump likes like building buildings. He's not a politician. He's actually like he's this sassy drama queen. So he's not going to host a World Cup while in the background there's a war going on.
Yeah.
I don't want to say there's no chance, but I don't see that. That's not Trump's thing. Trump is a sucker for like these events and these boomer things. So he's going to wrap it up anyway before that. Plus you have like if there's a war until end of May, oil is going to stay above 80. This will bleed into inflation. Inflation will bleed into approval ratings. Approval ratings bleed into votes, and it's quite obvious where this is going. So end of May, I like it. End of May, I'm going to be bidding below 60 and below. I'm not even sure it goes below 50, but below 60, I'll probably bid. End of March, I don't know. I'm not. Also, this is not only his thing. Iran needs to let him off the hook, because with this one you can pull up the rules. They're a bit tricky. I won't say
Yes.
tricky, but they need both need to sort of publicly agree to it. Because remember, I think last summer they had simpler rules, and it was a Trump truth. So he said, like, we agreed on the ceasefire, and that's it. And I congratulate everyone for being so
Yeah.
wise.
Yeah.
So basically, he resolves the market. This time, I'm not sure that would actually, the market would pump, no doubt. But I don't know whether this actually is enough. It's, at least with the rules, it's a bit dubious. And Iran would reciprocate, but they would probably not say anything, or I don't know. They'd probably, say like, oh, we beat the great Satan, or we showed deterrence, whatever. So, yeah.
I think the rules here make it difficult, and that's why I know that yes is possibly the sharp side because you want US wants out. I think based on his statements yesterday, he says it's already been a complete and utter victory. We've
Mhm.
obliterated, I know the mention markets for obliterated now are in the 70s when they used to be in the 20s for him to say it in any given speech. We've obliterated the entire military capabilities. They have no missile launchers left. They were 2 weeks away from a nuke, as they have been for the past 40 years, and
Ever,
and now
ever since
that's
I'm
completely
alive,
gone.
yeah, yeah.
But the problem now is the way that Iran is so decentralized in terms of north, south, east, west, all these different factions, that how could you get a ceasefire, a mutually agreed ceasefire? I don't know really what's going on, but I know that there is some sort of decentralization argument going on where there is no way to get all of these people to agree with each other. You had Motaba Khomeini headline a week ago, and then radio silence, and then, oh, they're voting again today. They had a phone call to meet and vote for Khomeini last week, but actually that didn't happen. He was only voted in 2 days ago, right? These
Mm.
headlines coming out of Iran don't make sense, and maybe this is fog of war stuff, but I'm putting a little bit of weight on maybe there's just so much confusion in Iran because there's a decentralized military of sorts. Do you know? Do you have an opinion on that? Maybe I'm wrong.
Um,
Who knows?
no, no. I mean, the headlines I've seen from Iran is they want out too. I mean, this is also not helping them,
Hmm.
because this additional strain, this occupies more bandwidth for the regime.
Yep.
So there was a headline, I think yesterday. Iran would stop, or they would reciprocate any steps the US
Hmm.
takes. If the US stops firing, probably Iran would stop firing as well. But since they're, and also Israel, obviously, they also need Israel to stop. Then they would, just mirror, and then there would be, this would not necessarily resolve the ceasefire market, probably not. But let's
Yeah.
let's assume, for example, there's 2 days of nothing happening. The other market starts actually pumping. I don't know. You can probably find that conflict ends, or I'm not sure what it's called. Yeah, that one. Yeah, exactly. So that one resolves based on no shooting. It's directionally similar, but it's not quite the same thing. So there's like 15 days of no military action. So you could start the
Yeah.
clock on that, but it doesn't mean that there's actually a ceasefire. You could just, the conflict could, and this is actually what I think will happen now. The intensity of the conflict will go down, but it doesn't mean it's over.
Hmm.
And Iran probably, unless the US publicly backs down, unless they say, and backs down can also mean, okay, we won, because Trump will declare victory, so will Iran. Like they will just both gaslight their own target audience. Um, but unless that happens, I think there will be just, like a lower intensity conflict. Iran, they can terrorize the Strait of Hormuz. They don't have to keep it closed entirely. They can just keep this drone threat in the background, and keep the strait, semi-closed that way, and then see, whether you can actually do something about it or not. This would be this to me seems like the equilibrium state right now, unless there is some real tangible action, or like some backdoor mediation by the Arabs.
Hmm.
So that's why I'm not super hot on yes. I see the case. I also think he wants out. It's very clear he wants out. But is it like imminent? Given the odds, I don't know. I bought a bit of know actually for March because I'm not sure. So has so much really changed since yesterday, since the presser? We knew before that he wants to tackle. Like it's nothing new. He just announced it, but we knew it. So
Yeah. I'm thinking back to last year's conflict ends. I tried to look at that market. Couldn't see the graph there, but there was markets for Iran, Israel, because there was a conflict last in June, where there was a ceasefire market that resolved immediately, but then also this conflict ends market. And I'm trying to think of what happened there. I don't really remember, but it looks like the prices are mirroring each other here pretty well, right? I mean, April. Okay, June
yeah,
30, 70, 76, March 31st, 32, 31, and 7,
yeah.
7. So other than June, they are mirroring each other. You think the rules are easier to resolve, yes, for conflict ends?
Mm, I wouldn't say so. No. Actually, conflict ends can have more some more residual risk because let's assume last year repeats Trump truce, and it's over. Then you still have the clock starts from his truth, presumably. Then you still need to go through 15 days of actual um, ceasefire.
Yep.
So one market would resolve, ceasefire would resolve, but this one wouldn't resolve. It would presumably it would pump quite high.
Yeah.
But based on the rules, if I understand if I understand them correctly and remember them correctly, it doesn't resolve. And you can have the opposite as well. You can have like for some reason, no shooting for a day or two. Trump has anything. Maybe there's rumors. Presumably, like both markets pump. But could they
That's
decouple?
something I don't believe. I don't think the other way around makes sense. I think ceasefire, yes, conflict ends. What I see is back in January we had an explosion in Tehran, right? Remember explosion in
Mm,
Tehran, the market pumped, and then it turns out it
yeah.
was just some car explosion, like just a normal thing that happens. I see ceasefire announcement, mutually agreed from both sides, or okay, or Trump says no, never mind. We're gonna. Nah, I think he needs a ceasefire. He needs a mutually agreed
Yeah.
ceasefire, and then there's an explosion in Tehran. That's what I'm seeing. I see ceasefire yes and conflict ends no. I don't see the other way around.
No, no, I'm not saying they will both resolve the same way. So I'm pretty sure, when there is a permanent change to state of things, they will both
Okay.
resolve. Either they will both
Okay.
stay no, or they will
Yeah.
resolve yes. But
I
what I'm
miss. I
saying
miss
is,
yeah. Go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah, you could have a situation, in my opinion, where I don't think it's likely, but it's definitely possible, where you have as a de-escalatory step, as a trust building measure, um, the US backing down from striking them for a day or two. Because you don't have to strike, it doesn't have to be like 0 or 100 in terms of
Mhm.
strikes, especially US. Obviously, Israel, because the interesting thing is that Israel and US, they have entirely different objectives. Like Trump wants Bibi doesn't want out. Bibi is fine with continuing, or like continuing at least. That he doesn't wreck the entire world economy because that doesn't help their cause either. Um, so yeah, they probably always trade closely related to each other, but it doesn't mean that they will definitely not resolve at the same time.
Yeah.
Because when one resolves, when Trump announces this one should resolve, presumably even if Iran says nothing, they will probably say, "Yeah, we won." They will not say we accept. They will say we won. So I
Yeah.
guess that resolves it. But then the other one cannot resolve, if I remember it. Then you still have the 15-day clock on that.
You have a 15-day clock with the potential for a lot of pumps if there's some explosion somewhere. Um,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of what situation is there a conflict ending without Trump. I guess Trump just claims victory.
Mm,
Trump claims.
well, well,
How could you have a conflict end with radio silence from Iran?
mm, no. So like I can see 15 days of no shooting, but Trump doesn't. So that the conflict ends market resolves before the ceasefire market. This is very unlikely, in my opinion, because of like this 15-day moving average of zero military engagement. I don't see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Trump is just not the kind of guy who can, 15 hours maybe, yeah, but 50 days now.
Well, exactly.
Um, Yeah.
Okay, so what other markets do we have in Iran? Oh, one that I'm interested in is US forces entering. So yes, we've said that it's likely to end soon, the war. At least that's what we're hoping. What does this mean for these US forces entering? Because you know that the other 2 nights ago, I had been watching YouTube and randomly on my feed came up this this cool guy, and I'm like, wow, this is a really interesting video from
Mm,
Predictive History, Professor
mm,
Jang. Okay, I don't know who this guy is, but he came up on my feed with like uh, a 3 million view video about a year and a half ago, saying Trump is going to attack Iran. Trump is going to win the
mm,
election and he's going to attack Iran. Let me see if I can find this. It's not very important, but I think it's pretty cool. Yeah, geostrategy, the Iran trap. Okay, so he has reasons for Trump. He has another video about why Trump will win, but he says
mm,
hubris is the death of U.S. and U.S. is going to attack Iran, and they're going to deploy troops because freedom and democracy, nuclear threat, war on terror. These other two, something about oil. These other two,
mm,
I don't know, but and it's going to happen in March 2027. So it's a year. He said 1 or 2 years after he's president. So it's 26 to 2027. But he's like, picture this scenario. And pretty much until the 20-minute mark, he is spot on about everything that
mm.
happened in Iran. And I think to myself, oh my goodness, if I only found this video a year ago or a month ago, I would have sized up completely. This guy is a legend. And then he starts to talk about why he draws a map of Hormuz Strait in Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, why troops are going to enter, and why U.S. is going to lose the war. And the whole
Mm.
second half of this video is U.S. is going to lose the war. They're going to send 100,000 troops and 200,000 from Saudi Arabia into Iran, and they're going to be in there like hostages. Right? This is I'm just like summarizing his video now.
Mhm.
And the comments on this video are like, wow, I can't believe this. I assume we all know why we're here. No one searched for this video. Let's pretend it's 2027. I need the next lottery numbers. So I start to look at
Mhm.
this guy and I tell one of our partners at Hive, I say, hey, let's find this guy and let me get him on to interview him. Um, so I'm just scrolling on Twitter and now I see, Sneeko, another one of these like Andrew Tate figures. He interviewed him 3 days ago. And I'm like, I thought I found this like hidden gem in the world, but it turns out he's a very popular guy. He has his own Wikipedia page, and he's known for making these outlandish takes. This one
Mm.
hit, but he's not actually the best
Mhm.
predictor. He said 20% of American women 18 to 25 are on OnlyFans, which is just a completely crazy stat. But this is what I picture you do on the daily as a geopolitical analyst. If prediction markets didn't exist, you would have a whiteboard and
Yeah.
you'd be going on YouTube and planning out the entire invasion. But basically, he did a game theory based analysis and a historical analysis on why US would send troops. Because that's my question. In what
Mm.
world would the US want to send troops into Iran? It doesn't make sense. With such technology going on, bombing and B 2 bombers and these bunker busters, Fordo and everything, why would you ever want to send troops? And he tried to explain that, saying something about Athens in BC, yeah, 400 BC, where Athens sent troops to Syracuse, and uh, they had a couple days of success, and then they needed resupply, and resupply is very difficult in the difficult terrains of Iran. So different situations there, and Vietnam War. All of this stuff, and then game theory based. I forgot what his game theory based analysis was, but point being, he gave a very detailed analysis on the second half of the video on why troops will enter Iran. And I start to think to myself, okay, is he a smart guy? Maybe I'll tail him. It looks like the market is moving completely right now. It was 70 cents when we first started talking, and now we're at 80. So I'll pitch it to you. What just happened in the last 10 minutes, and why will US
What
forces
did
enter or not enter?
pull up the market? What happened?
Yeah.
I hope. Well, it's not bleeding over into invasion, that's for sure. So I don't know, maybe. because I'm on invasion though.
Well, maybe
This
actually
one,
that might be a good trade right now if we can figure out what's going on. This is live research.
yeah, it
Trump's
is fucking plummeted entirely.
I, first off, let's see what the buys were. Okay. Um, Trevor sold. Arb guy
Hmm.
sold. So it's two market sells, settling at 81 in low liquidity, but not too low. I do want to get back to the actual analysis, but this is interesting. We need to figure this out.
Because also it's only the short timeline, right? Because actually, anyway, so while you're searching, I'll talk.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was on, so I still am on no invasion. I had this before the war because yeah, I was also of the same opinion. You know, they are not going to. They didn't do an invasion in Venezuela, so
Hmm.
they're not going to do one here. Maximum, they would do an incursion for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Then it started pumping because there's also like this hard island narrative out there, which is not only a narrative. I mean, they're thinking about it, whether they should seize the island. And that could still happen, but anyway, that's what pumped invasion, and presumably this was one of the reasons that also pumped the boots on the ground market.
Hmm.
The other one was also this. There was like a plane fell off the sky or something, and they had to rescue someone. And that actually that would have or could have resolved the market. There was a pump for it, but it didn't because I think it never got confirmed by them
Hmm.
that they actually go in and get someone out. So yeah, I had yes for a while, and then I sold yes pretty much yesterday before because it seemed like just awfully high. I had it on the December timeline to even it up with the invasion one. And it went to almost, I think I've sold about like 65, 66. I didn't make a lot, it was a bit. And when I saw the first headline about this, about his imminent taco, I bought no on December, and also just got a few cents out of it. It didn't really drop as much as I hoped to, and it's still quite high. Now, what happened with March just now? I don't know. Maybe you you found
Haven't found
something because
anything. Haven't found anything.
fell off a cliff. Yeah,
Um,
it's and it's quite big sales as well. No, we'll have to check it out. Yeah, maybe it could have just had March, but anyway, I didn't want to mess with if I have one for year end and then the other one on the short end. It's a bit stupid. I can see them. So, what are the scenarios where they go in?
yes.
Some special ops, rescue mission. There was this talk about like trying to find the enriched uranium. This seems operationally to me very difficult, to be honest. If it's supposedly at one of these reactors that's bombed or dug beneath rubble or whatever, I'm not sure. But there are several scenarios where they could send someone in without having, like an actual boots on the presence, like a big troop presence. I
Yeah.
could see that. That's why I liked this market as a hedge for the other one, because for this one, there are many more scenarios than for invasion. The only real scenario is seizing this island. And even just trying to seize the island, that would probably be enough for it would at least pump the market hard, but it would probably also be enough to resolve it because I think it's the attempt to seize territory or something. It's very obvious that they would seize it to sit on the facilities to not allow Iran to export oil.
Yeah.
So yeah, does
Hmm.
it make sense? No, I mean this is escalation. Like if they do that, that's a clear escalation. Then this war will go on for quite a while because then Iran will start shooting at oil infrastructure in the region. So that's why I think they're backing off that one at least for now.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't understand what went on, and it doesn't look like the other markets moved. This could have just been a uh, one guy or
Panic.
two guys selling. We don't really know who. I don't know who these people are, unfortunately. Looks
Yeah,
like they made a lot of money.
our guy is the guy who always goes down, and then at some point he hits
What the
something
hell?
that brings it back up. He's the ultimate yes, Chad.
Okay.
Besides the guy that vanished, you remember him, the peace guy. What was his name on X? Satoshi. Yeah, he
Oh,
was
this
the
is
ultimate
that's him?
Chad. No, it's not him, but
It's
he's
just his kind of
he's
style. That's funny. Okay, so yeah, I don't understand what happened. Oops, didn't get to figure that out. But it looks like it might have just been one guy. But if the price doesn't recover, then maybe there was something. But also, it shows how people are just scared to buy no, I guess, if the price doesn't end up recovering too much, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Um, yeah.
it doesn't look now imminent after yesterday. It doesn't really look like they're going to do it for now, but it doesn't mean, if the war goes on beyond March, then yeah,
Yeah,
December will probably.
what does imminent mean to you? Does it mean end of the month? 21 days is a lot of time in Trump world, right? That's a couple of 2 weeks to
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
I mean, yeah. I guess like he said 4 to 6 weeks. I think one of the reasons he said 4 to 6 weeks was that he wants to finish it earlier and then tell everyone we did it ahead of time.
well, he did say we're ahead of schedule yesterday. Yeah, he said we're
Yeah,
well ahead of
yeah.
schedule.
He's already doing that. But it doesn't mean that it cannot go on for 4 to 6 weeks or even more.
So you
Yeah,
like this as a hedge to invasion. US invade Mexico, Iran.
yeah, you're right.
Okay. US invade Iran at
But I have,
how could
yeah,
you
I
be
have
hedging
here.
this? Sorry. I don't know. You buy
You
yes
have
and
no on this and yes on the other one. I mean, they are not like they're not they're
well, it is
just neutral.
reverse arbitrage. You would lose
Yeah, yeah,
money. Yeah.
yeah, of course. Yeah, it's not an entire hedge. No, absolutely not. You hedge against the scenario that like they do an incursion essentially because that's what they
Okay.
did in Venezuela. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I think I'd at this price for March 31st, I have my yeses bags from 58 to 57 cents. You see me over here. But I'm not buying more here. In fact, yesterday I was talking to someone about the market. I said, I'm ready to sell in the 80s if we get there soon enough. And it looks like in the last couple minutes we're in the 80s. So I'll probably reduce here a little bit. I don't know what's going on, right? So to me, I'm happy to have made this trade. And actually, I'll get into stand because we can start copy trading me on my on. Well, maybe I'll copy trade your account now that we found it out and you posted it
Yeah.
on Substack. We can copy trade you. But yeah, for this market, I didn't look at the invade market, but my markets are U.S. forces, Iran, ceasefire. I'm big on the oil markets, and obviously Andrew Tate tweet markets as well, and Strait of Hormuz, which is something that I had to close, and it did close, which is good. Um, yeah, U.S. forces. Okay, we are happy here at 78 to 80. So it looks like it looks like there might have been something that happened. Um, if I were to be able to figure that out, I'd be much richer than I am. And in Discord, I don't see us talking about anything, right? So we'll figure that out eventually. But yeah, so for U.S. forces, you'd rather be yes here, is what I'm hearing, but
No,
maybe at
for
the longer
March,
timelines.
I'm pretty flat now on most things really. I have only this like little bit of yes, like the straddle on the ceasefire market. Almost everything else, I actually just went flat yesterday. Even on the regime change markets, that's maybe one we can just really briefly cover.
Yeah, let's do that.
Because the regime change one, it delivered quite a bit, especially the short ones like March and April. Mm, what I like more though than this one is it's not the Khamenei out because they can't name it. They name it now like what was it? Basically the new Khamenei is out, but it was let me find the market. What's it called?
Leadership
Leadership
change?
change. That's leadership. Yeah. So that's a nice euphemism. I think this one is directionally it's the same bet like no regime change, but it's better odds because think about it. If Israel assassinates him, regime change will pump. It has to pump because this
These are
is another leader that's out. So this it wouldn't mean that there is no more new supreme leader, but it would at least start this narrative. Um, so if you're betting on no regime change, essentially you're betting on also on this guy staying alive. It's not the only thing, but this is one of the things. This is the most likely scenario that I see for regime change is the supreme leader gets like this the office of the supreme leader gets removed. It's unlikely. I don't think they would do it because this would like change the theocracy into another system.
yeah.
But it's more possible than Pahlavi coming back or people uprising or something like that. This seems the one thing that could happen maybe.
Mhm.
So
I think
That's why I
it,
got it. Yeah.
I
And
mean,
I'll
we've made,
trying.
yeah, sorry, finish your thought.
No, that's it basically.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the graph and I'm like, man, in the last day, you could have made easy. Like what? I know that the nothing ever happens crew has gotten screwed over a couple times this year already, and betting nothing ever happens is a bad move. But on these short time frame stuff, the stuff already happened. I'm happy to get back in the nothing ever happens crew. To
Yeah.
me,
I mean,
a 68 cent to 78 cent move in a day on, I
nothing ever
mean,
happening. Like, for what it's
respectfully
worth,
though,
it might not be, this guy might be in a coma. We have no idea whether he's actually even around or not, because he
there's
was
a couple
pronounced.
problems. Yeah, sure. That's a fair, but I'm thinking, okay, we know, with the exception of the actual event that happened on February 28th, we know that the usual strikes in Iran happen between 5 Eastern and 8 Eastern, right? The time to attack Iran is midnight to 3 a.m. Iran time, which is evening Eastern for us. So after that window passes and Mutaba's back in the bunker, then, or he's already in the bunker at midnight, how could you explain a move from 60 to 80 cents when nothing happens? This is the time when nothing happens. It's very
Yeah.
obvious to be on, it's obvious to be on no Monday to Friday because the war goes on pause between 9:30 and 4:30, 9:30 and 4 on Monday to Friday, as we know, during during the market hours, and the war only resumes on Friday. So if you think about your risk premiums, you can be buying no Monday to Friday and then buy yes for Friday night when the actual event happened, right? If I were to have replayed what happened 2 weeks ago, I would have been betting yes for every Sunday and no for every uh, Friday. You understand what I mean?
I
Because
know what, yeah,
the weekend is what matters.
but it's not. I think with this one, it doesn't really apply because if they have intel on him, they're going to strike no matter what, no
Okay,
matter when. So I think this,
I'm talking
like,
about back then.
what I agree with is, yeah, like actually I had no for this one, but I had like 200 shares and then I sold them because I didn't get more fills, which was quite stupid. I didn't market buy. I should have just market bought. I had them at 55, yeah, and there's a bunch of volume that went on at 55. It's not crazy, but you could get like 5, 10,000 shares in. Like, it's not crazy money, but not bad money either. And it's probably going to be crushed even more if this guy, if the next week or so passes, he's still alive. Um, then even better. Maybe we get like say him talking. Could be AI, could be the real thing. It doesn't really matter, but I'm not sure if it's so easy to get to him
Yeah.
because they need the intel, and he's going to be, if he's alive, he's going to be hiding somewhere
He's never
far,
coming out of a
far.
bunker. He's
Yeah,
never coming out of
exactly.
a
Yeah.
bunker. 100%. I think I just have a fundamental problem with the efficiency of the market. I don't think
It's
that that the market should fall this much in one day, right? 30% down in one day, more than that, sorry.
well, because it's initially it's too high. If you zoom
It's
out,
it's
if you look at
always
what,
been too high. That's the problem.
yeah, yeah, if you look at what happened, I mean, this was actually the most obvious trade there is was fading this once they strike. This was the absolute most obvious. This was even more obvious than betting on them striking. I think this one, to fade this and that it's going to
And
be
look at all the
crushed.
people on no. It's very obvious. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And it doesn't
Yes,
mean it
and
can't happen. I mean, it could
doesn't.
happen, but it's going to be crushed. This was a sure thing in my opinion. So
Just 3 days
yeah,
ago,
it
we
is
were
what
at
it is.
40, we were at 60 cents. And the problem is now on Monday Hive Mind, are you entering a trade? Like, where do we still see value? Because 2 days ago, I said, oh my goodness, I can't believe Regime Fall was at 60 last week and it's at 70 now. Or Regime Fall No was at 60 3 days ago, it's at 70 now. I'm not going to get in. And now today I'm saying I can't believe it's at 80 now. Last week yesterday it was 67. There's no chance I'm getting in now. Is there still value to be betting a June 30 strike at 78 or an April 30 strike that's over a month at 88?
Probably, but you have to think about, do you want to keep capital to for optionality? So imagine, that's why I like the Khamenei market more, because it's directionally, again, it's directly the same thing. If he gets taken, like if you bet on nothing happening, essentially you're betting on this guy just staying now in where he is, or basically that he's staying in power, even nominally. It doesn't matter whether he's really in power. If that changes, then automatically the other market, the regime change market, it has to change, because a second supreme leader has been assassinated. That opens up a whole new box of possibilities. Maybe they want to remove the supreme leader. Maybe they have to elect a new one. Maybe something else happens. I don't know. But the market will pump anyway, and then you can still, if you were on this one, if you lose this one, then you can still decide based on what's happening whether you want to now get into the regime change fate for a second time, or maybe for the first time, or not. That's why I like this market more than the regime change market, because the regime change market, in case of a second assassination, you can try to fade it.
Yeah.
You're not going to be underwater from your previous buys, because then you have, like you have the emotional sunk cost. You're underwater now. You bought at 78 and it went to like 87, and then they killed him, and now it's trading at, I don't know, 66, and you're like, fuck, man. So now I'm 10 cents out of water. Whereas with this one, maybe you lose, that's fine. But then you have a clean slate, like emotionally, like this is just trading, like emotional management. Here, okay, you lost. Now let's think about the regime change. Is it going to happen or not? You can think about the price in a vacuum. You don't have this emotional baggage with you of having bought higher. That's why I like it
Mhm.
more. But I don't have much yet. Like I don't know. I have to check maybe a couple
Yeah,
hundred
this is a
shares.
lower liquidity market. I mean, hey, 81 cents, 180,000 shares. That's pretty big.
Yeah,
But I see,
these guys, when these guys, sorry, just really briefly, but when these guys get in, and this is just a recipe for disaster. Like I just want to click them so bad. I don't want all this inventory. But these people who put up like these 200,000 share walls, man, this is not going to end well for them.
for them, okay, just making sure. I
Yeah,
thought you
yeah.
say for us.
Someone's going to
So,
click them, and then yeah, like
so listen, this trade idea, you don't buy 81 cents, sure, but small trade. So you buy your 78 cents here, for no, March 31st. You buy your yes for March 31st at 4 cents, and then you either win the 78s, or so that's a 22-cent gain and a 4-cent loss, or you lose the 78s and you can get a pump from your 4-cent shares up to, where do you think?
depends. Exactly. Depends on, yeah, exactly. Depends on where, how high it pumps, um, when it happens. With this, this is actually one of the things I want to get in more throughout the year, using AI more for this, because I think with something like this, AI can be very useful. I haven't done it yet, but this is one of the ideas. Um, Trying to, like game out these
Scenarios.
trading strategies and like executions, like how can you hedge these markets, because they are obviously correlated, but how you can hedge them. Because like if you just, like eyeball it, it's going to be difficult. Like
Yeah, I'm
how
trying to
high is it?
eyeball it.
Yeah, like if
Like
if, if they
how much do I
assassinate.
have to make? How much do I have to make on the 4-cent shares, I'm thinking? Do I have to make 78 cents to cover it? I don't even know the math on it. I think you do have to make
But
78 cents, right? Which
no,
it would
but
never happen.
no, but this also depends
What
on
day?
the, what's it called in the, I'm not good with options, but this is basically you're
Theta,
starting to
theta
trade off.
decay, theta decay.
Exactly, yeah, yeah. Because if they kill him on the 15th, or if they kill him on the 29th, those are two different things, right? So
Yes. Yeah, you'd still have a pump. And I think the other idea is you don't have to make the full 78 cents you lose on the regime fall
yeah,
shares. You sell at a 20-cent pump or a 30-cent pump, and you get on no to make that last 78 cents, right? So I think there is some potential there. And I think in terms of Motaba Khomeini out, this is a trade, despite 5 hours ago it being 70 cents, and I'm in pain that it was. I wish we should have streamed yesterday. Would have been really, could have gotten in the trade. But I think I'm comfortable taking no here at 78. I don't think so yeah, I mean, sure, Trump is you can't really tell what he's saying, but he didn't even know. He's like, "Do you mean the sun?" someone asked him, what are you going to do with him now? He's like, who are you talking about? The son? And he's like, well, I'm not going to tell you what we're going to do,
Yeah.
but I'm very disappointed and this and that. So I don't know what he's going to do there, but I'm probably comfortable taking no here, at least a little bit, just to speculate, you know?
Yeah.
Um, so let's talk about stand for a second because I want to maybe copy trade, maybe counter trade you. What do you think?
Ever since I've gone public again, it's been going better, except for,
Okay.
and I guess that will be the one thing that we can talk about, except for the election. Yeah, maybe I'm just better in
Oh
public.
yeah, we didn't
For
go through
now,
the
you
German
can
election yet.
follow. Now, for
Okay.
now, I follow. No
So as you
promises.
guys know, Hive Mind, our Hive stream is presented by Stand, a prediction market aggregator and prediction market trading terminal for both Polymarket and Kalshi, where you can discover trends, trades, track traders, get whale alerts, trade up to 8 markets at once with what I love is the Octobox. And I know these markets resolve now, but this was something I'm a big fan of. And now counter trading and copy trading with zero fees. 70% of prediction market traders have a negative P&L. 30%, we're in the 30% with a very positive P&L. But you can profit from both profitable traders and negative traders by copy trading or counter trading. So automate everything, and Stan's automations aren't blind, and we will do a live demo here where you can control your entries, exits, liquidity, volume filters, the categories you want to counter or copy with. And the best part about it is it's all 100% free, zero fees. A lot of these other trading terminals, they have fees. I don't know, over 1% on some of them, but Stand is zero fees for copy and counter trading, zero fees on Stand. So that's why Hive is proud to recommend Stand, and that's why they're our partners. So check out the pro style trading interface on stand.trade. And Ivan, let's find your name and copy trade you, I think.
Can try. Put in Pantera.
Yeah, there we
The
go.
last one.
Okay,
Yes. Yeah.
so Ivan, counter or copy? What do you think? What would you like us to
Well,
do?
it's up to you. I checked it. I think
I
in
want to
March
copy.
I'm on 7+, seven positive days, 2 negative days. So
Your P&L is minus 7K all time, but that's okay. You're an
yeah,
active
but
an
that's
hour ago.
because Iran fucked up the
Okay,
last
so
time.
one thing that you have to look up is what's your bankroll, like what's your average size? Because we only have $700 in this account. But I think what I'll do is 20% of your position. We'll also sell the same percentage, but the categories, we only want to do what you are good at, which is what are you good at?
But
So
I yeah, I only trade this nowadays. Like I keep the degenerate stuff. Actually, I haven't done it recently, but if I want to
yeah,
trade
so
something just for fun, I keep it on another account. So I have like
okay,
line
so we'll
management.
just do world, and maybe when I give you some Oscar picks, I'll add in pop culture. Okay, geopolitics, there it is. So geopolitics, my budget is my 750 bucks. Entry price don't care about. Slippage, whether it's plus minus 2 cents. When you market buy something in an illiquid book, you see people
Mm,
gaming copy traders by buying at 50 cents and then the copy trader goes and buys at 99 because that's next best order. But here you can set your limit. I'll only copy trade you if it's within 2 cents of your buy.
mhm.
Max per market don't really care about. These are all good. I want to go all out into your trades. Maybe not. How about that? Maybe we'll do just half of my
Keep it,
bankroll
yeah.
on any one trade.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that. Min volume, all good. And let's. Oh, expiry for limits. That's interesting. Okay, we'll put 3 hours there, and we're gonna start copy trading you. We'll see where it ends up. I know we had Scott Alicious and 50 pence last week. I don't think it went very well because we're down 200. I think the problem was, and this is we're learning about copy trading here. The problem was that
Mm,
50 pence was already in some trades, as we know. So when
yeah.
he's selling things, or when he's buying new stuff to offset winning trades, we are getting the bad side of that. So I think we had Pallavi to enter, yes, which is not the
Mm,
smartest trade, but it is interesting to see. And Scott Alicious, we countered him. I think we made some money there. Not sure, but yeah, with Scott Alicious, we countered him last week, and I know he was on the wrong side of a few things, so we'll see. But yeah, that is stand, and we'll see where we end up next week, Ivan. How about that?
let's see.
We'll get to $1,000. You'll increase our bankroll 25% or more than 25%,
I hope
30%.
so. I'll try my best. I'll try not to dump on you. Don't dump on your friends.
PMT is in the comments. How insane is it that Marco to be Republican nominee at 27% and Marco to be president at 17%? That's a 60% implied chance of him winning if he's the nominee.
Fuck.
Do you,
Is it that high already? No. Fuck.
you're
That's not
you're
good.
a Marco bull? Are you a Marco bull?
Shit. Oh no, it's only 12. I was, yeah, like I've been
Wow.
thinking about this for yeah, because Trump is going around asking senators whom he should shill or endorse or just asking. He will not say anything yet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
17
I mean,
cents on Kalshi,
oh
which
shit.
pays oh no, they both pay 4%. Wow,
Oh, that's
17
crazy.
on Kalshi, 12 on Poly with some decent size here in the
Fuck.
14s.
Actually, yeah, because I mentioned this to someone. I mean, it's not my genius ideas. It's nothing new, but I mentioned this like this is basically like buying a an ICO for a shitcoin or like a private investment or something. You buy Rubio to become president. If he gets nominated, man, he's gonna win? How's he going to lose?
Against
The
well,
Democrats.
yeah,
And it
I'm with you.
depends. I mean, the Democrats could maybe like dig up someone, but I think like very briefly, I think he's way more competent, way more qualified, way sharper than JD Vance. JD Vance, look, it's I. This is not my meme, but I saw this on X, and I think it's very apt description. JD Vance gets memed for being fat and for like clowning Zelensky. And Marco Rubio gets memed for just getting more jobs. You know, Marco Rubio is this and that. He's the Ayatollah. He's in charge of Venezuela. He's in charge of some NHL team. Marco Rubio does all these things. JD Vance is just basically this puffy guy. So, I mean, that tells you all you need to know. But the one thing why I haven't bet it yet, besides it being too far out, I heard on one political podcast that apparently they're genuine friends, and that Rubio would defer to Vance if Vance takes it or wants to take it. So I'm not sure whether they actually go into like a real primary, and that's what kept me off it. But yeah, fuck it, should have just bought it for the narrative because it's
Wow.
now it's probably too late. But yeah,
This
yeah.
is, I mean, I wasn't tracking this at all. The only reason I'm in these markets is for my 4% with my extra cash. But this is pretty crazy. So if
Uh,
Rubio were to win the nomination, PMT is asking like 60% implied probability. You think it's even higher than that, or is that about right? Or lower?
oh, you mean 40 against them? This entirely the Democrats have, at least it looks like it now. They need basically the economy to line up at the right time, and by line up I mean bad. The economy needs to be bad. So
So
if the
for
economy is bad, they can win against anyone. If it's good, then it's what candidate are where are they going to get this candidate from? I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen him yet.
everyone,
So
I mean, the past couple months have been the midterms are going to be a bloodbath against the Republicans, right? It is going to be big problems in the midterms because Trump has completely ruined the Republican Party. And
yeah.
Republicans won't win again until 2036. That's the stuff I'm hearing. Now,
Well, this is yeah, but the midterms, come on, man. The midterms. I mean, I know it's not you saying that, but the midterms is something different because then you have like a split government, and then in 2028 you have to ask yourself. You know, it's a bit of everything. You know, it's the economy, it's a bit of the vibe, it's a bit of it's the candidates. Obviously, that's a big factor. And then there's also a bit of do you want to give the Democrats all three branches of the government? They're not going to be woke anymore. They will move past that. But do you want the Democrats controlling everything again, or do you want to, you know, like keep a Republican president? So if they win now, which presumably they will, so, yeah.
yeah.
That's why I didn't get
So,
into it. It's early, but
yeah, so
shameless.
what 23 hours ago, 10 cents, and now we're at 12, and I wonder what Kalshi was. Um,
So,
Similar
yeah,
stuff,
but
11 to 18, and it is pretty good size, right? Yeah. Fair size on here as well. So what is the next what's the next move? Even though everything's already moved. Are you comfortable getting Rubio at 12 when Kalshi's at 17? It seems like a good trade here.
I mean, I didn't buy him. I told you, like, I didn't buy him because I don't. Because for something like this, I probably wouldn't buy for the narrative. This I would buy um, like an actual like ICO. Like I buy Rubio at 5 cents, or when I looked at it the last time, a couple months ago, I think he was at like he was below 10 for the presidency, but he was already slightly above 10, I think, for the nomination. And I
Mhm.
thought, okay, shit, I missed the nomination thing, but I could still buy the presidency. But I didn't. For this, you want to deploy capital. For this, I would probably put in like 50K and just hope it makes me a millionaire.
Yeah,
Or like I make it big on that one.
interesting.
Um,
Yeah, I
yeah.
think obviously I'm a fan of arbing the two. When you get paid 4% doesn't hurt, so I would be buying here. I don't know which one is the overvalued, undervalued one, but if I'm getting paid 4%, then I'm comfortable buying and then closing when the arb closes. But Rubio, yeah, I'd be happy to be on yes here, even though it's up a little bit, especially on Polymarket. Happy to be on yes. Interesting. Thank you, PMT, for putting us on the market. I'll start to look at this a bit more. Haven't at all. A couple markets left. I know we're at the hour mark. If you have some time,
Sure, yeah, we can do, yeah.
we
Like
can do this German
or
election
yeah,
quickly
yeah.
because there was a new uh, clarification or not. What is happening here? The market resolution will be based on the second vote. This is someone that just sent this to me, but I don't see it in the market. Let me see what's going on here. Um,
Mm.
yeah. Oh, most seats. Okay, most seats in the Rhineland election. So they put a clarification in the Rhineland election, which is about it will be based on what you were saying, the second vote. And this is just what I
Oh,
wanted
the
to go
tiebreaker has
over.
been updated. Oh wow, I appreciate it. Okay, shout out
But
to Polymarket. Be listening.
this is for a market that's for the election in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
obviously you apply that to this market, which was the
Mm.
dispute from yesterday, which was just a funny, I mean, it was painful for people who entered the market pretty much at any price before 99, actually any price before the first dip, but explain a little bit about, I'll explain a bit about what the dispute was, and you can tell me how wrong these people are. How about that? So this is
Sure.
one of the states, I think the third largest state in Germany, and they had their parliamentary elections for the state yesterday, 2 days ago, sorry. And based on the exit polls, we saw that the Greens were going to be in second place, right?
So the Greens,
Like the
the
first
Greens
exit
had like
poll,
momentum, and then based on the exit polls, right after the polls closed, they won it. Like
yeah,
yeah, they had more votes.
yeah. So based on the exit polls, Greens were supposed to win. What is happening here? Okay. Greens were supposed to win based on the exit polls. I remember this. It was like 30 to 31-28. And then a couple hours later, it started to flip. And some people made some very good trades where I know GOP fan was always on
Mm.
the other side. And I know you were on the green side, right? Like you said you were tailing Conrad, who I had to go look up.
Yeah.
Didn't know who he
So
was.
yeah. So what
Okay.
happened? I'll explain this one, and then you
Okay.
explain the dispute. So what happened was, yeah, the Greens won on the exit poll. So exit polls showed them up somewhere between 1 and 2.5 percentage points. And because this market is the market for most seats, that translated into presumably two more seats, and that's why they went to 95. A couple of people started buying no quite heavily there. A GOP fan was initially not one of them. He got in a little bit later, but Pio was one of them. And I was thinking, and I was looking like at the results actually coming in, and I was thinking, you know what? I can't really tell whether this is actually good or not to stay in here. Let me just sell and like take profit. I took profit on all of my position. I was up. It was great. Yeah. And then the market started, slightly dipping. I thought, like, come on, they're like I mean, they will get this thing right. But I didn't actually have any math to back it up, and that was the mistake. And I got back into the greens, new position like we talked about, like emotional blank slate. You get in now. I'm not in with profit. I'm in with zero at like I don't know. It was close to 90. It was some above 90, and then I started buying on the way down. And at some point, the margin got smaller and smaller and smaller. At some point, the node chats, they got out. One of the Theo, he got in on yes, but he got wrecked. GOP fan, he held until the end. He made real bang. He made like 50K or something. And the end of the story is the Greens got more votes by half a percentage point. So about like 20,000 more votes. But because of Germany's system, it didn't translate into one extra seat. And the tiebreaker for this market, and that's where you then come in with the second place market, this market had a different tiebreaker than the market for the second place. So this market was tie-breaking. First criteria, obviously, seats. There was a tie, and then the tiebreaker was alphabet. And because C becomes before T or G, whichever one you take, the CDU wins, even though it didn't win, because the Greens votes. Yeah. And then
So
you
yeah,
can explain the rest.
same amount of seats, but CDU. And you were saying the German equivalent of the Greens actually starts with a B. Was that right?
Yeah, they
Like
have like a
that's a little
longer
bit.
name
Yeah.
with a B, but I mean, the rules were clear. I'm not complaining
Rules
about
were
the rules. The
clear,
rules were
and
stupid.
this is good. What's funny is that the winner of the election on Polymarket on Planet P is CDU, and the
Yeah,
second place of this election is also CDU. So Planet P
exactly.
has a winner has a winner and a second place being the same person, and the Greens, where did the Greens place? We don't even know. They placed third, I guess, in on Planet P. Anyways, so the problem with this market is that there was a different tiebreaker in the second place than the first place. The second place market had a voting tiebreaker. So you look at the vote count of the election, and ties will be broken by the total number of valid votes received, with the higher vote total ranking higher. Which means if they both have the same amount of seats, which is I think 54 seats, am I right there? Something like that,
Yeah,
56,
56.
54 seats. Then you will look at the vote count, and because the Greens got, you said, half a percentage more, CDU is second place. So they were first because of the alphabet in the first place market, and they were second because of the vote count in the second place market. So when this ended up happening, I think we, as traders, settled that CDU would be at 99 because we know what the tiebreaker is. And despite people getting angry that someone is first and someone is second, because typically that should never happen, right? If we're betting on reality, there should be a first place winner and a second place, right? But because of the rules, and we respect the rules, CDU was at 99. Then there was some FUD about they were both first place. Therefore, second place is actually third, and maybe it should be AFD. I know someone was mentioning that there's no such thing as third place because they both have the same amount of seats. Just like the Olympics, when you have two people
Yeah,
tied, they both get gold, and then the next
yeah.
person is a bronze medal, right? And also, if you were to really scrutinize the rules, it's about the number of seats won. If right, so if second place has two, they both had the same amount of seats, so they're both first. The second most seats is actually third place. That's a very far-fetched argument, but it's something you could make. Anyways, there was big FUD when I don't know why was there FUD. I think the reason was oh yes, first vote versus second vote. In the German electoral system, if I can get the link up, it is based on. Let's see where we are.
I, I, I I can probably explain it really briefly. So you have two votes in
Go ahead.
Germany. And the first vote is like a first past the post vote. So it's like in the UK, if you know. So you elect the guy, and the guy with the most votes, he gets the mandate. He gets the seat in parliament. That's the first vote, and then the second vote is just proportional. So if you have 30%, you get 30% of the seats. And that's why they did that. Well, presumably, so you have someone represents your municipality, and then the other thing is so for example, like if you elect the Bundestag, the actual national parliament, you elect someone within your municipality to represent you, and you elect the party for the entire country. So that's the idea
Yeah.
behind it. And I guess the FUD was then basically that CDU, they won the first vote, so they won more of these direct mandates. And then the second votes, which is what everyone looks at to determine the winner, they lost that. So yeah.
Yeah. And the problem here is that, okay, first off, which vote do you look at? But then I think A News made the argument you have to aggregate both votes. And if you aggregate both, then CDU wins a little bit less, but I think it was like 32%, but they still win on aggregate, which is the argument that pushed the market from 99 down to 70, back to 99. And then Polymarket issues a clarification, which confuses the market even more because if two or more parties are tied on seats, ties will be broken by the total number of valid votes received, with the
Yeah,
higher vote total ranking higher.
like this argument is nonsense. I don't know whether this argument is just confused or bad faith. I don't want to put anything in anyone's mouth, but it's just wrong because no one counts like this in Germany. And then this clarification didn't make it better. I mean, this was a perfectly clear market with it was a stupid rule. For this one, it was a clear rule and a correct
Yeah.
one. The first one was a stupid rule, but a clear one nonetheless. So yeah, I lost in this market not because the rule was bad, but because my trading was faulty.
Yeah.
So that the rule was bad, that triggered me a bit more. But yeah,
Yeah, for me in this market, I only joined after this second clarification. And when I first read it, I looked up election results and 30 green, 29 CDU, and I bought. And then people are sending me this total vote, and then I start tagging you in the Discord, and I say, "Hey, can you explain to this? Because I know that you are more in the know than A News would be, right?" So, and you explained that exactly what this new clarification on this next week's election is. Zui,
yeah,
I'm not going to try. Second vote. It's based on
yeah.
the second vote, and that's how it resolved. So I'm happy there. Market resolved correctly, even though Planet P has some problems with reality. We resolved correctly. How about that? How about we take a win there? I'm happy
And
with that.
even more importantly, they actually changed the rules for the next market, so there will be no more confusion like this.
Yes.
And I mentioned it, and they changed it, and I appreciate them very much. That's cool that they listen to us, and yeah, I hope it continues this way.
And second place, is it still based on okay, so they're both
That
based
was
on second vote. So there will
already.
not be a problem here. Good. Okay.
Yeah.
I did want to talk a little bit about oil. I don't know if you want to. Can give 2 seconds to it. How about that? Is that okay?
Yeah, I have no positions or opinion, but yeah.
Okay, so I just wanted, this is maybe some good alpha here, because there is something really cool with this market. And it is, people know it now, but when oil pumped, and we can look at where oil pumped, this was kind of crazy. And it's very cool that everyone using Hyperliquid, eh? You know how Hyperliquid is now like everywhere. Everyone looks
Yeah.
at Hyperliquid for oil now,
Uh,
which is amazing. CL. Okay. So CL here pumped to $118, if not a little bit higher, exactly 118 on Sunday night. That's when futures opened, right? We had a big reach the limit on Hyperliquid, which is because Hyperliquid you allow trading over the weekend, but in the futures market you don't. So we hit the upper limit based on the Oracle. Moment market opens, everything goes up. And we knew everything was going to go up because if you looked at the limit, everyone had buys queued up on the bid, trying to get filled at 80 before the market opened, because we knew it would go well above 100. Not only was that a free trade, we could talk about how free of a trade that was, but yeah, oil went up. Now on the poly market, you had a situation where it wasn't really expected, but on Sunday night, which was the 8th at 6:30, okay, you had 84 cents. Everyone was predicting oil to go up a lot, and it did. All the way to 98.7 cents, oil is going to be at 105. It already was above 105. But the way that these markets work is it resolves on the settlement price, okay, of
mm,
the oil futures. So what does that mean? If you look at the CME oil settlement prices futures, let's see what we get there. Futures settlements, how about that? Basically, the last traded price is not the actual settlement price. So at 11:59, at 11:55 Chicago time, Central Time, oil's trading at 85. But that's not the settlement price. The settlement price is based on like 2 to 230 volume weighted average price. So every day around 2 o'clock, you'll see some volatility in these markets because people are trying to see what will oil settle at for the day, because that's the price that we are going to resolve at midnight that night. Okay. So for this market, we're at 98. And I'm thinking to myself, it's Sunday at 6. There is still 20 hours left for oil to
Mm.
have a lot of volatility. And the oil futures are trading like a shitcoin now that all the crypto guys are on hyperliquid, right? So you have a
Mm.
situation where oil is very volatile. It went from 80 to 118. It can very easily go back down with a Trump taco at 2 o'clock yesterday.
Yeah.
Oil went back down. So where you had oil at 98 point cent, 90 oil to be at 105 at 98.4, one of the easiest no trades, and I think was it Yatsen that tweeted that too. If we look at Yatsen, he tweeted out that he made that trade. He had like 50,000 shares. I'm here with like 5,000 shares. Yeah. Oh,
Mm.
this was actually an argument because he didn't get filled. This was the fake fill. But he was trying to
Mm.
buy no of these markets, right?
Mm.
9 cents for 105, 12 cents for 105. And it was all the way to 1 cent for no here. It ends up pumping because oil could not sustain that 118 price, right?
Mm.
Where again, you have a low of 6 cents for 110. Now it's 70. So the
Yeah.
lesson here is if you want to buy oil, buy it on a spot market or on a perp market like Hyperliquid. But if you want to trade on Polymarket, volatility is your friend. And buying no for anything low or anything high is a good idea because just because oil is above a price at one time does not mean it's going to sustain. And I'm not a big equities trader. I'm not a big trader of these of futures at all. Barely do it. I've been in prediction markets too long and haven't really looked at the stock market at all. But I'm curious, you have any experience with this stuff and how does my trade idea sound to you?
I don't, but it's quite interesting. I saw just one tweet. Someone went in on like a higher strike, like lower price, but like same idea, yeah, with a high at a higher strike. But
Yep.
this one is actually even better because it has obviously a lot more. Like you're very close at your invalidation. I mean, you're already past your invalidation actually, but you still have time to actually come back below it, and it worked out. So yes, it's a good trade idea. I'll
Yeah.
probably pay more attention to these, yeah, because
With
especially now that
with
everything trades like Bitcoin is crazy. Like every commodity just trades like a crypto coin. It's insane. So
Exactly. And I think the beauty of the poly market is that you have all these traders who don't understand the rules.
yeah.
I don't think it's Polymarket's fault here. I know it says hit, so it did hit 110. But if you are knowledgeable about the actual market,
Maybe
settles,
close. Yeah, it should be closed.
closes, but it's not,
Yeah,
it
something like.
closes each day by the end of March. It's
Mm,
every
all right.
day's close, you know? So close one day above 105. There's different ways to phrase the
Yeah.
market, but knowing the rules and reading the rules, as always, is very important. And learning that settlement price may differ from the last traded price is an important thing to know. When I first got into the market, I thought the settlement price was 1155 CT. I thought that was the
Mm,
price. So for 2 days, I was buying no under the impression that I have to be up at 12 o'clock and watch the market. That was wrong. I
mm,
learned it's 2 o'clock or 1 a.m. Eastern, but I learned now it's at 2 p.m. So in 2 hours, I'll put the ticker up and see where we're going to resolve. I think we're in the 80s and we're not going to go above that today. But
yeah.
I think it's interesting and a great trade. 1 cent to 50, 4 cents to 55. I think what was this? Yeah, 4 cents to 70, sorry. I mean, crazy. And
Yeah.
I was on the right side of it. Poor Yatsen, he didn't get filled. I know another topic we should get into is what is Polymarket doing with the problems on the site now that people can wipe an order book without actually executing any trades. Not fair. Um, but yeah, that's the situation we're at with oil. And with the Hormuz Strait apparently being closed, oil is in a precarious position. And that's what I got for you.
All right.
All right, then. Some good trades. Marco Rubio, we're going to be long. Shorting, we're going to be longing. Nothing ever happens, as always. Thank you, Ivan. This was a fun hour and a half. Thank you for staying a little bit over. And we'll see everyone again, hopefully next week. in a profitable place. How about that?
Hope so. Yeah.
All right. Have a good day. See ya.
All right. Cheers. Bye bye, guys.